have easy access to something that will allow us to see the world in new ways and make our lives more meaningful. Our childhood memories. I've discovered that I can use memories to create art and that you can use it as a door to understanding art. As an artist, I've learned that memories can lead to profound art, and profound art can make architecture more meaningful. I'm an architect-sculptor exploring the creative uses of memory. Memory is like a sixth sense that we use to understand places, and for places to be meaningful, we have to rely on it to interpret and make sense of them. So how can we create a good sense of place with art? How will we know? It starts with our memories. I recently used my own childhood reflections to create a large public work of art. As an Air Force brat growing up on the eastern edge of Nebraska, we always camped and drove west on our summer vacations. We lived modestly, but we had this awesome 63 Plymouth station wagon with fins, optional seat belts, and air conditioning that my father was always reluctant to use. My overriding experience of Nebraska and points west was this boring flatness. Miles and miles of straight highways and nothing but corn and cattle as far as the eye could see. It was always hot, and thunderstorms became the highlight of the week to beat the heat. Now, the cool thing about a flat state like Nebraska is that you can really see the weather coming. Thunderheads, big, tall, beautiful, puffy cumulonimbus clouds. The perfect opportunity for fun in the mind of my 9-year-old brain. And when it rained, we got soaked. The only challenge was drying out in time to show up for dinner. It was marvelous. This experience for rain, for me, is primal. I recall the stinging rain on my face and arms. The visibility goes from miles to feet. The sound gets louder and louder. The air temperature drops and my body cools down. My t-shirt and jeans get soaked and heavy. I can smell the rain and taste the salt off my sweaty face. And like every kid, I stretch out my arms and turn my face to the sky and try to guzzle it all in. I repeated this as often as I could get away with it. My childhood remembrance became the genesis for the creation of fractal rain and the key to turning a big space into a memorable place. Tapping into early childhood memories is also your door to seeing and understanding art. You know that as a young child, you first responded to people, places, things, events, emotionally instead of rationally. You relied on your emotional intelligence. Until we're taught to draw within the lines, scribbling everywhere makes perfect sense to us. There's no fear, there's no judgment. The key to understanding art is this. Rather than trying to rationalize and judge it, begin by looking inward and pay attention to your feelings. In order to rewire these feelings, you just have to reach back in the earliest times of your life and try to remember when you first felt this particular way. Now, gentlemen, feelings may not be part of your guy card, but trust me, this works. To create fractal rain, it would be perfectly rational to mimic rain by trying to make it look exactly like rain. However, by responding to my memory of rain, it granted me tremendous freedom. This is very important. By responding directly to my childhood image and feelings of rain, it freed me to be abstract and open to multiple interpretations. You and I now have permission to recall our feelings and see in the art whatever we will. Recently, I was commissioned by the New Library in partnership with the Dayton Art Institute to create a sculpture inspired by Monet's water lilies, the Chimu mummy mask, Nam June Paik's television sculpture, and Dayton's river history. The 1913 flood changed everything about Dayton. Since then, rain and its effect has become part of our cultural DNA. Throughout the process of creating fractal rain, my childhood memories became the touchstone for my artistic decisions as I considered these works of art and the flood. This 2-year project would bring a lot of technical challenges requiring research and experimentation. I thought I knew exactly what to do. I'd made smaller rain sculptures before, and all I needed to do was to scale it up. Wrong. The difficulties grew exponentially with the size of the project. Eventually, I ended up with custom fabrication of 5 miles of high-strength stainless steel wire, 3,756 acrylic prisms, bending and electropolishing the steel, and designing the means to hang 1,000 pounds, 60 feet in the air across a span of 120 feet. There were a lot of failures, but with each failure came a discovery. I thought glass would be the perfect material for raindrops, but it looked too soft and it was too heavy. As it turned out, it was actually acrylic prisms that closely matched my memory of the sting of rain on my face and arms. The stainless steel had a lackluster dullness, but electropolishing the wires gave it a gleaming shine that reminded me of streaking wind-driven rain. My childhood experience of being drenched suggested that fractal rain had to be big enough for people to feel like they are immersed in it. Walking in the front door of the library, you may be apprehensive. Thousands of wires border on chaos as they slope at slight angles and overlap as if being driven by the wind. It's too big to see all at once. You have to traverse it by walking up the grand staircase and around all 3 floors. During the daytime, the sculpture is in constant dialogue with the sky, the clouds, and the sun, refracting the light and colors of the day. And by night, the whole composition gathers the ambient light of the space and reverses itself against the night sky. By moving your body while viewing, the experience becomes visceral. The body has a memory too. The experience of fractal rain can trigger your own memory of rain. What does this remind you of? What are your feelings? Imagine the possibility of experiencing art like this all the time. When you spark a memory, you can use all your senses. To experience art fully, especially sculpture, you have to engage your body and your mind. Adults may be cautious about experiencing art like this, but kids come by it naturally, and we can learn from them. One of the best stories I can share is that of a 9-year-old boy at the grand opening of the library. From an upper floor, he points to fractal rain and says to his grandparents, "It's a dinosaur!" They were amused and thought I'd be disappointed. No, I'm thrilled. He gets it. Kids are particularly good at this interpretation game. It's called creative misreading and bears no relation to what we might call the truth. All that matters is that we connect with our own personal memories. You can begin to do this too when you see art. As a matter of fact, you can now begin to see anything as art. Not just what the experts call art, but anything. Maybe it's the dress you're making or the holiday dinner you're going to prepare. Life becomes art when we open ourselves up to childhood memories. The path to understanding is through your feelings, and the door to feelings is through memory. With this simple knowledge, you are now a self-appointed art expert, authorized to explore your own art expressions. This is how you let art make your life more meaningful.